welcome back to this next episode. This is kind of like a little mini series where I'm looking at our driver behaviours a little bit more in depth maybe. So just in case you've joined in and this is the only video or podcast that you're listening to or watching, I'm gonna just recap over some of what we've already spoke about. So bear with me for a little while. Our driver behaviours, we have access to 5 of these behaviours. There's be perfect, please others, hurry up, be strong and try hard. And as human beings, which we are all human beings, unless you're a dog listening to this, which is absolutely possible. My dog does listen to the television and watch the television. But as human beings, we have access to all these driver behaviours. And they tend to be more prevalent, more noticeable, more at the forefront of our behaviour when we're stressed, when we're overwhelmed, when we're going through a change in our lives, when something's transitioned. It could be the end of a relationship, it could be a death, it could be losing a job, it could be lots of things. But our driver behaviour is part of what we use to get through certain things that happen in our life. And particularly with what's going on at the moment, I think a lot of us, including me, are actively in our driver behaviour because we kind of don't notice what's going on around us when we're in our driver behaviour. It's all about survival. It's all about getting through the day, getting through the week, getting through whatever it is that we need to do. If you're at work and you're feeling a bit meh and don't quite know how to get through the day, and then your boss comes to you and says, we've got a massive presentation and I need you to just sort out these PDFs, print them all off, put them in a pack and get this done. It's highly likely that you would be quite stressed in that, and your hurry up driver and your be strong would come into the fore, and you'd get your head down and get the job done and not really pay much attention to how it was impacting on you or what was going on around you in the office. It's just, you're one track minded, and that's what our driver behaviour does. It helps us get through certain things. At other times, the way that this is kind of taught and explored is that there's a little man in the water, a little stick man, and he's holding up 5 balloons. So I often talk about our driver behaviour being pumped up, as in a balloon is getting fuller and fuller with air. When we're stressed, we rely on our driver behaviour much more than when things are going smoothly, when there's nothing happening in our lives, when things are just ticking along quite nicely. That might be the case for you now. Even though we're in the midst of this pandemic and life is changing as we know it, you might be okay with that. You might be in a place where things are running smoothly for you, and that's absolutely fine. But there will be other people that are finding it more difficult, that are relying more maybe on their driver behaviour to get them through this period of time. And we will look back on this at how we managed it, how things have changed. I did a post this morning about what's improved in your life from this time last year. And it took me a while to actually focus and pin down on something that had actually improved. And I could have written a massive, great big long list on all the things that have changed and everything. But to actually, consciously look at what has improved in my life from last year was quite interesting. So just notice what's going on for you. Just notice what's going on around you. Are you stressed? Are you overworked? What's happening in your body? Are you, getting headaches? Are you tense around the neck? Those are all signs that there's something rumbling, that there's something going on for us. And that's when our driver behaviour usually kicks in, it pumps up and it becomes more prevalent. So this episode is all about the Please Others driver behaviour, which is one of the ones that I go to. I'm a psychotherapist. I was trained as a BTEC nursery nurse. That was one of the first jobs that I had. As an adult, I was trained to be a hairdresser. But the majority of my jobs have been around serving others. I used to work in a school. I was a dinner lady for a while. I worked in the kitchens. I ran a breakfast club and an after school club. I was a foster carer for 14 years and I'm now a psychotherapist. So there's a bit of a theme going on there that I like helping others. I like pleasing others, which is one of the reasons why I'm speaking about the Please Others Driver. So if we have a Please Others Driver, or if we're in our Please Other Driver behaviour, it's really important to us that everybody around us is okay. And I know I've spoke about this in the past on different videos, but my upbringing, your upbringing, has a bearing on how we are as adults. So, it was important when I was growing up that my family were okay. Certain things happened in my life where I was given the responsibility, or I felt like I was given the responsibility to make sure that everybody around me was okay. We choose to put other people before ourselves, and we can be quite resentful of that, which... that's something that I do notice the older I get. I don't know whether it's an old age thing or something, but the more I help other people, and I'm not talking about a work situation, I'm talking about, personal life. If I'm doing lots of things for other people, then, there does come a point where I sit down and kind of do what about me? Who's doing something for me? That's when I notice that I've been in my Please Others Driver behaviour, because I'm just making sure that everybody is okay. And when we do that, we tend to put ourselves further down the list of making sure that we are okay. So I talk an awful lot about self-care. I don't see self-care as being selfish. Sometimes people think taking time out for us, whether that's, I don't know, going for a soak in the bath or just going and sitting in a room on your own and reading a book. It doesn't need to be, a weekend in a spa, spending a fortune. It's just about taking time out for you. That's important, particularly if we have a period of time we're in our Please Others Driver behaviour. So people with a Please Others Driver, we smile a lot. We're party people, social butterflies. We can be quite emotional. We're definitely team players. We like to be part of a team because that means that we have the opportunity to help and to please and to serve other people. We are caring, people, as I've mentioned, that are in the caring profession, doctors, nurses, police, all those sort of people tend to have a Please Others Driver that they go to when we're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. So it's just about noticing, what careers have you took? Is there a bit of a theme to it? When we're looking at driver behaviours, if we have a really strong Be Strong driver, for example, we might find that we have jobs where we're not dependent on other people, where we can, maybe sit in front of a computer and do the job completely from start to finish on our own without involving other people. If we have a Please Others Driver, it might be that we're happier or feel more comfortable in a team of people. Maybe social work where we're interacting with lots of different people and we collaborate more. So just be curious about how our driver behaviour impacts on our life choices, the decisions that we make, the careers that we choose. One of the things I've noticed through doing more psychotherapy videos is, as I'm talking, I'm kind of, understanding and realising more about myself as well, and recognising parts of my life that maybe I just took for granted that I did certain things at certain times. Whereas when you look at the bigger picture, it's like, that's what was going on then, and that's why I did it. It's interesting sometimes to look back and view past decisions, relationships that we were in, jobs that we took, friends that we had that maybe have dropped off a while. If you've got a friend that has a Please Others Driver, and you have a Please Others Driver, it's very difficult to constantly be pleasing each other because it's kind of like whose role is it? Often when we have a Please Others Driver, we find somebody that needs help and assistance, and that communication, that friendship can last for an awful long time, which is brilliant. But if you've got two people that have a be strong driver, then who's in charge? It's kind of like maybe we're vying for that position within the family, within the workplace, within relationships. So just be, again, I know I keep saying it and you're probably sick to the back teeth of hearing me say it, but just be curious about how we interact with people. At certain times, do we need to please others more? And at other times, you know, am I in my hurry up driver or am I in my be perfect? What's actually going on for me right now? Because the reality is, in all of this, in the pandemic, in the workplace, in relationships, we have no control over the other person. We can't make them be a certain way. We can't make them slot into what we want them to be when we want them to be it. The only person that we have control over is ourselves and our thoughts and feelings about certain situations. So I think that's the reason why I decided to do this little mini series of videos and podcasts, is that if we understand our own behaviour and why we behave in certain ways at certain times, then that kind of gives us the opportunity to open our mind and to explore what the other person is going through. Why are they behaving in that certain way? I was talking with a client last night, and it was quite an interesting conversation. They were quite exuberant about a difference of opinion that they'd had with somebody, that, you know, their opinion was right and the other person, what were they even thinking? I can't believe that they were so polar opposite to my thoughts, and how could they come to that conclusion? And it's times like that where if we can just take a step back and try to be curious about what it is that they're going through in that moment, what driver behaviour are they in. You know, if we're in a be strong driver position and that's encouraging us to move forward and to take control and to do all this stuff, and the other person is in that same driver behaviour and they're trying to take control of the situation and move it forward, but it's you know, leading to a different path than the one that we envisaged and what we want to go to, then there's going to be conflict, there's going to be misunderstanding and all those things in that communication. And that again takes me right back to transactional analysis, and what a lot of it is about is analysing transactions, how we communicate with people, that, you know, the ego states, the parent, adult and child, and how we communicate with each other and all those things. It's all interconnected. So just be compassionate with yourself as well as other people. If you can feel that your behaviour is starting to be a little bit more definite and you know, at the forefront, then what's that about? Maybe you're trying to avoid something. Maybe you're just trying to get through the day as best you can. And it's about, you know, understanding that that's what we do as human beings. Be kind, be compassionate, be understanding. Just take time to reflect maybe. And self-care is so important, particularly when we're going through what we are at the moment as a nation, as a country, you know, as a race, as human beings. We all need to be a little bit kinder and a little bit more compassionate to what other people are going through and how other people are dealing with things. We can only see the reality through our own eyes, unless we stop and make a conscious effort to explore what somebody else is going through. So I hope that's, again, giving you a little bit of food for thought, and that you're starting to understand a little bit more about your behaviour and your state of mind and your awareness and how all that can be impacted. And once we understand how we behave and we respond and react to certain things, that gives us an opportunity to look outside at how other people are doing the same thing. It's kind of like one of the things I learnt when I was doing nursery nursing training was how children parallel play up to a certain age. They appear to be playing together, they appear to be communicating and playing the same game, when the reality is they're kind of in their own little bubble. They might be both playing with a car and a garage, but they're playing a solitary game on their own. And sometimes I feel like that's how we are as human beings. We're all in this life together, but we tend to be in our own little bubble, thinking our own thoughts and having our own feelings. Where if we can start to understand that other people are doing that same thing. Maybe that's something that we can use to our advantage. So I shall see you in the final episode, which is going to be talking about our try hard driver. So I shall speak to you very soon. Take care.